been a while, to the point where it feels a little bit awkward sitting in front of the camera. But Elise is asleep, so I really wanted to film almost a little introduction. So, tomorrow is the 4th of July and UK lockdown is set to be relaxed. And this is the lockdown that's been put in place to ease the number of people getting coronavirus and therefore the strain on the NHS. With lockdown easing, a lot of people are quite rightly getting very excited that they can do more things. And there seems to be a lack of discussion around the fact that for many people, particularly chronically ill, disabled people, whether through still being classed as either high risk or shielding and not feeling it's safe to go out, or not having access to the carers they need to be able to go out, and in some cases treatments having been delayed or postponed or cancelled, because delayed and postponed are the same things. So there seems to be a lack of discussion around people who are still going to need to be continuing to stay home. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to vlog, because we are still going to be staying home and I think that's really important that we talk about it. Before we get started with vlogging tomorrow, I thought it would be really good to sit down and just talk to you a little bit about how lockdown has been for us. I stopped vlogging during lockdown for a number of reasons. One of them was I just thought people would find it too boring. Another was that there was a lot of things going on that I had to deal with, and I'm hoping now a lot of that has been put in place over the last few months. But if it hasn't, you'll get to see some of that. But I feel like it's going to be easier for me to balance vlogging with all of the logistical stuff than it was at the beginning of lockdown. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a background as to me and how lockdown has affected me and my family in terms of health. So I'm classed as high risk because I'm on steroids for my asthma. Very early on, I think within the first week, either of lockdown or even just before lockdown, my GP surgery got in touch with me and said, you are high risk. They also talked to me and we put together a rescue pack, which includes steroids and antibiotics. So should I fall ill with COVID-19 and if my asthma or just breathing in general became difficult, I could take those steroids without the need to end up in hospital and therefore spread COVID-19. And thankfully I haven't had to use those. So far we haven't been affected in terms of us getting ill. I was due to have my next course of Botox treatment for my chronic migraines, and that was in, I think, April. Unfortunately it might have been May. Anyway, unfortunately that had to be postponed and the clinic is not, or was not, able to run. So my next Botox date, assuming that the clinic is able to open up again as they hoped, there's no other delays, is going to be the end of October. And while this is going to put me in a very difficult position up until I'm able to have that treatment, which I'll go into a little bit later, it was absolutely the right decision for the hospital to make. When it comes to other appointments, they've been converted to telephone appointments, and I was having to go through to the GP surgery for some treatment, but now that's been set up at home, so I don't have to go out for that anymore. So currently in terms of health stuff, I'm managing increased migraine symptoms, unfortunately. So whereas previously I haven't been wearing my glasses in the house so that Elise can have good eye contact because my glasses are so dark, I've needed to wear them all the time as partly as a preventative measure. I need to reduce how quickly my migraine symptoms deteriorate and try and minimise that as much as possible, so that when I do have the Botox treatment, ideally end of October, we don't have quite as much deterioration to make up. What this means in practice is reduced screen time, and minimising being under artificial lighting. And this is one of the biggest reasons that it looks unlikely that Elise and I will be able to go out independently for too long and too far until spring 2021. And the reason for this, rather than being able to start going out more in November, is that I struggle with artificial lighting during the winter anyway, even when my migraine is well managed. And with that 5-6 month gap in treatment, it's going to be even harder. Some of you will be aware that I have medical PTSD, and unfortunately some of my experiences during lockdown have exacerbated symptoms and have been quite difficult to manage. One of them is difficulties with my prescription. So I've found that things haven't been put through correctly, or only half my prescription arrives when it's delivered, and I've had to manage that and deal with that, and at times become a little bit creative with managing the medication that I have in the house. Luckily that hasn't been too much, partly because I order my prescription well in advance to avoid these kind of situations, but it's still been very difficult emotionally for me. And then I've also had a very difficult experience, which if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, you may already be aware of, and if you don't and want to, I'll leave links down below. The hospital where Elise was born at, which is where the majority of my PTSD has come from, I had a telephone appointment with them last month, and they just didn't show up. The appointment was at 11 o'clock, and at 1 o'clock I phoned up the reception to find out what was going on. I was concerned that they didn't have my phone number or couldn't find my phone number, so wanted to phone up in case that was what was going on. I was reassured that no, everything's absolutely fine. The doctor just started a little bit late. You'll definitely receive a phone call this afternoon. And it never happened. So a lot of my time has been spent liaising with the Patient Advisory Liaison Service. And then a couple of weeks ago I got a letter from the doctor I was supposed to be seeing, who wasn't the person I was actually supposed to be seeing, just saying that they couldn't find my phone number, which is ridiculous given that I'd phoned up the department. So I've had to do a lot of admin around that, and it has been very stressful. In terms of general day-to-day stuff, I was supposed to be taking part in a baby wearing consultancy course on UK Mother's Day weekend, which was just before lockdown was announced. That had to be postponed, so that didn't happen, but a different provider set one up online. It was something they'd been working on anyway, so I've been taking part in that, and that's where a lot of my time has been going the past few months, which is part of why I've not been vlogging. And I'm so close to being finished. I've got 3 videos to film of demonstrations, and then 2 practice consultations, and then I'm done, and then I'm qualified, and I'm really excited. But that is partly why I've not got my camera out and filmed. Another reason why I haven't been vlogging during lockdown is that Elise has been running around with no clothes on, and it seemed like too much effort and energy and potential frustrations with everything else going on to try and get her into some clothes. And I think quite a few parents will appreciate that and have probably been in similar situations. So that's another reason why my camera hasn't come out. I might have to get a little bit creative if she continues not to want to put her clothes on, but we do have clothes on today, so that is progress. And in terms of Elise, she is doing really well. Her speech is coming on really well. She's got brilliant imagination. She's made up her own story a month or so ago about a dragon, and the dragon was coming for a tea party, and the dragon wanted to stroke one of the cats, and it's a friendly dragon, and this story has just been evolving. It's been brilliant to kind of watch her kind of creative thought process in this story. She's also been referring to the cats by their nicknames. They have quite a few nicknames. She's even made up one of her own. So Freya, who's just up on the sofa, I'm gonna see if I can, there she is. So Freya has various nicknames, and to start off with, Elise couldn't say Freya. She now can, but she has to concentrate on it. So she's been calling Freya Rera. And then she started calling her Grumposaurus, and then she became Rerasaurus, which is really cute. And it's, Dan and I are both big on nicknames, big on kind of lots of different nicknames. So it's really sweet that she's created some of her own. She really loves the cats and they really love her. So Elise had her second birthday not long before lockdown. It was just before we started self-isolating, but I think lockdown was then the week after. So she's now 2 and coming up to 2 and 4 months. She's been very much enjoying painting. We've been doing a lot of painting outside. We've been doing drawing and colouring. She's loving running around the garden, and I'm really enjoying taking photos of her and improving my photography. We also bought her a slide very early on because that's her favourite playground activity, and we knew that we wouldn't be going out to playgrounds for a while, so she now has her own slide, which she absolutely loves. She's got an activity table that she got for Christmas, which has been fantastic for water play, which she absolutely loves. And we've been painting on it as well because it's really easy to wipe down and keep semi-clean. But even if it isn't, it's out in the garden anyway. It's not something she's going to be damaging by painting on. She's also singing a lot, making up her own sort of tune, and I wouldn't quite say words yet, but sounds. And she's just generally a joy to be around, and I hope I'm going to be able to capture that properly for you. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm sure there are things I've forgotten, and I'm really sorry for the very short clips all spliced together. The weather has not been kind to me, and I'm starting to have some difficulty with my cognitive functioning, which again you'll see and hear on the vlogs, but I didn't want that to come into this kind of video. But I'm excited to get the camera out again, to be able to show you a little bit of what we're doing, and also hopefully continue the conversation around those who it isn't safe or they aren't able to get out and about. Let me know how you've been getting on during lockdown and what the 4th of July and the easing of restrictions means to you, whether that means you can get out and do more, like go and have your hair cut, or whether you're also going to be largely self-isolating. And I will see you in our next vlog. Bye!